Okay, so you know what? My brain has been doing a lot of things actually recently, and I've been thinking about relationships. I've been having some discussions about relationships, romantic relationships in particular, and the type of partner that I want to be, and also the type of partner that I want to have, because you have to know these things. I feel like for me, I realized that for me, I feel, excuse me, that the most ideal approach to being in a relationship is just having absolutely no expectations of a person whatsoever. Because I feel as though the truth is you're going to be in the love that you have with yourself. No matter what, no matter who the person is, the type of love that you give to yourself is the type of love that you're going to experience. That's just how the universe works. So I feel as though I don't have to worry or think about having standards or any type of expectations, because I just think having standards and expectations in a romantic relationship is just completely and totally unrealistic and absurd. How do you expect a person to be anything at all for you? They're human. They're a human being. They are growing just like you know what I mean? And I feel like I'm not saying that there can't be laws, right? Like laws in the relationship. Those are the things that you guys both abide by, like respect for each other. You know what I mean? That's different. I'm talking about expecting a person to do or be something for you, like at all. Anything other than just a human being. That's it. And it came up where a few times really where I was saying, like, I was asking someone, do you think that it should be a necessity for the man to offer some kind of like material support, financial support, or like take care of his woman in the relationship? And the person actually gave me such a really, really great response. And that was just that, it's between two people. Like, it's two people. So y'all can make the relationship whatever y'all desire. Their society creates all of these standards and these norms for what a romantic connection between a man and a woman should and shouldn't be. And I just feel as though if you're not in the relationship, then your standards or your expectations have no weight. Like, they don't influence anything, and I feel like they shouldn't. So for me, I think just in general, I've come to a point within myself where I'm complete with who I am, and I'm whole, and I don't expect for anyone to give me anything. I'm not expecting anyone to be any specific thing for me, because why? Why put that much responsibility on another human being to love you? Just period. I feel like if they do love you, okay, that's beautiful. That's a blessing. That's balance. Especially if you love them in a mutual way. It's just that expecting them to love you, right? Expecting them to love you and also love you in a certain way. I just feel like, why have any conditions at all? That's just how I feel. So when I think about a man, it's like, I mean, if you want to get me beautiful things, like if you want to spend all your money on me, that's beautiful, like that's something that you are doing for yourself. Ultimately, I have to be like clear about these things, because I'm not a very material person. I don't experience or receive love through money or possessions or physical property. Like, if you buy me a bag or you buy me a purse or you're spending money on me, I just feel like the love is more likely to go over my head because that's not my love language. Although I will be completely receptive and thankful, And so there are instances where, okay, maybe that is his love language. Maybe that's how he expresses his love to me. Then I'm going to be open because it takes two, and I have to be willing to be open to meeting him where he is and accepting him for who he is. And it's like, if one of the ways that he explains to me that he loves me is by buying me a $5,000 purse, then who am I to say, oh no, like, no, don't give it to me, just because I'm not usually a type of like material girl. I would just see it as a really, really nice gesture, you know what I mean? I think romance can be infinite. And I feel like even people with two completely different love languages can always find a point where they meet, a point where there's balance, a point where they can completely understand and accept each other and their differences. And I feel like in many ways, the differences in a relationship are actually what increases its value, especially when you guys are willing to honor what makes you different from each other and just the fact that you're together. So I think just for me, I've also learned not to expect anything from men, like not even help. Not even for him to hold the door. If he does those things, that just means, it can mean many different things. If you value a man who does certain things, like open up the door for you and like buys you flowers, him doing those things is ideal. And it's also like, if you don't really value those things, it just may not be something that you consider a standard. It's just that society makes it seem like, oh, men have to do certain things for a woman in a relationship. And it's just like, no, because people are different. And I feel like I personally am someone who's like, if a guy doesn't open up the door for me and he's supposed to be like my romantic partner, I'm not gonna be like, oh, you need to open up the door for me. Yeah, except I am going to pay attention to it, just certain things, because I'm more of I love old romance, ancient romance. I'm not really a new age kind of girl. And in many ways, like, I can be very new age. It's just that when it comes to love and when it comes to romance, I want that back in the day type of love, like, court me, baby. Buy me flowers, baby. Hold the door for me. Like, do all that stuff. Because I feel like flowers are different. I wouldn't really consider flowers like material in the way that a bag is. Although it is material, it's flowers though. It's more poetic than it is very like literal, the way like going and buy a $5,000 bag, you know what I mean? It's just that if he does that, I'm not complaining. I feel like I'm the type of woman that can accept a man whose love language is undefined. He can express himself in so many different ways that my heart is open enough to be able to receive many different love languages, because I feel like my tongue is universal in that way. I can speak a lot of different languages that don't involve words, and I can communicate in many ways that don't involve words, and I can understand emotion and symbolism and like all of that stuff. That's why I'm a romantic. It's literally my religion, like romance. I also feel like I feel like you shouldn't have to tell a man how to love you for real. I feel like he should be paying attention to you. It just depends. I feel like it just depends. I think for me, it's going to be different because of the platform that I've created whatever man that I end up with, okay, it's gonna have had plenty of opportunity to get to know my personality and study me and the things that I like and stuff. So I am intentionally manifesting the perfect romance with all of my platforms, and it's definitely intentional. It's definitely conscious, because it's important to put out into the universe, love, and to talk about love and the type of love that I desire, the type of lover that I am, and all of that. Because I feel like Kendrick Lamar said something in an interview. It may have been in an interview, or it could have been in a song. I mean, they're kind of the same thing. Except I think it was an interview, and he said it's not going to be verbatim. He said something similar to the fact that you have to put out love. Like, you have to openly express that you want to receive love. You have to put that out in the universe. And, you can't just be quiet. You can't just not say anything and expect for love to come find you. And I love that, because I feel like love should always be spoken about out loud, always and all of the time. And it's a purpose of life. I believe it's one of the purposes of life, love. So I am a firm believer in speaking about it in any way, because it's important. It's something that I believe in. And if I want to experience the perfect connection, I have to have been completely open about what I imagine that experience is like, and put it out somewhere where everyone can find it. And just put it in the hands of the universe, and the perfect man will find me. He could be anywhere on planet Earth, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna put it on a platform where he can hear it from wherever he is on planet Earth and find me, because love is worth that, so all right. That's all